Every small touch felt like a promise. Every silence felt alright. We walked like nothing could divide us, like the world was ours to bend. I still remember how it started and the way it felt back then. We spoke in dreams without translation, built castles out of air, believed that love was strong enough to outrun every fear. We didn't doubt the future, we didn't question when. We only knew the warmth between us and the way it felt back then. Before the weight of growing up, before we learned to pretend, there was a simple kind of truth in the way it felt back then. Oh, the way it felt back then, like nothing else could compare. Hearts wide open and fearless, breathing easy in the air. We didn't know what we were losing, we didn't know when. We only knew we were alive, and the way it felt back then. Your life was lighter in those days, mine didn't hide beyond doubt. We didn't carry broken pieces, we hadn't figured heartbreak out. We trusted without conditions, we loved without defense. Every feeling felt infinite in the way it felt back then. But seasons have their quiet turning and people learn to grow. Different dreams begin unfolding, different paths we choose to go. It wasn't one dramatic moment, it was small changes adding up, until the spark that once burned steady was softer than enough. Still I wouldn't trade those days for wisdom I have now, because that younger version of us showed me how. The way it felt back then still lingers in my mind, a gentle kind of memory of a love both pure and kind. We didn't fail, we simply changed, like stories sometimes do. But I still hold a quiet warmth when I think of me and you. Maybe love is not about forever, maybe it's about the flame, about who you are becoming when someone says your name. Maybe youth is just a moment you only see when it has passed, but the way it felt back then is something meant to last. I don't wish we stayed the same or froze inside that time, because growing means accepting some chapters won't align. But I'm grateful for the feeling, for the innocence we knew, for the version of my heart that first opened up to you. Oh, the way it felt back then, before the world grew loud, when love was simple, steady, and we didn't hide behind a crowd. Even if we're different now and standing far apart, the way it felt back then still echoes in my heart. So here's to who we used to be, and no, we didn't understand. We may have let each other go, but not the way it felt back then. You started dreaming different dreams, I started needing different air. We tried to fit the shapes we were, Sometimes love just softens until it's more memory than dream. We outgrew each other slowly, not from failure, not from fear, just from learning who we are as another passing year. We chose respect instead of war, chose kindness over pride. We outgrew each other slowly and let the rest succeed. Maybe this is how love matures, by knowing when to end, by holding gratitude for what was, without needing to pretend. Not every story needs forever, not every flame must stay. Some hearts are meant to meet, then gently drift away. I don't regret the way we tried, or how deeply we once cared, because even growing apart means once we truly shared. And if I love more wisely now, it's because of what we knew, how to let go with dignity when love outcore. We outgrew each other slowly, like branches reaching separate sky, still rooted in a common ground, but different in our eyes. No bitterness remains with me, just truth that we both knew. We outgrew each other slowly, and that was all we could do. So here's to who we were back then, and who we are today. We didn't lose each other, we just grew our separate ways. Some love isn't meant for always, but it still was real and true. We outgrew each other slowly, and I'm grateful I knew you. Hey, young love, gentle sparks. Every glance felt like a spark. Every touch set us ablaze. We didn't know about endings, we only knew the start. Two fearless souls discovering what it means to give your heart. We spoke in promises too big for hands that's small to hold. Believe that love was simple and forever could be told. Your laughter felt like safety, mine didn't hide away. We loved like nothing fragile could ever break that way. gentlers of who we are. We didn't fall apart in the flames, we simply changed our stars. Young love, open hearts, learning truth through who we were. Even now I carry you in these gentle scars. We grew the quiet spaces where doubt began to live, not from anger or betrayal, just from growing different. You wanted roads that stretched ahead, I needed time to stand somewhere in that shifting ground. We slowly slipped from hand to hand. There was no dramatic ending, no shattered trusted blame, just a softer kind of distance where love still knew your name. We chose honesty over fear, even when it hurt to try, and walked away still caring, with tears we didn't hide. We weren't wrong for love, and we were brave to let it go. Some hearts are meant for learning, not for staying close. Young love, gentle scars, lessons written in our skin, proof that we once dared to feel and let somebody in. Young love, fleeting stars, bright before they fade apart. Even if we lost the flame, we gained a wiser heart. I don't regret the way we tried or how deeply we believed, because loving you that young taught me how to breathe, taught me that pain isn't failure, that endings aren't defeat. Sometimes love is just the place where innocence and growth both meet. If I love better someday, it's because of what we were, because you showed my younger heart how to risk and still endure. The scars we left are gentle, they don't ache the same. They're quiet proof of who we were before the world could change. Ooh, still warmth when I recall, not a wound that keeps me broken, just a memory that stands tall. Young love, open hearts, braver than we understood. We didn't last forever, but what we had was good. So here's to who we used to be, and all we didn't know. We were young and we were honest, and that was enough to grow. Some loves are not for keeping, they're for shaping who we are. Young love, gentle scars. When love didn't let rooms, when nothing left to prove, no heavy talks of where we're going. be heard, but I still miss the softness when it didn't need a word. When love didn't need words, just presence in the room, just fingers lightly intertwined under a quiet moon. We didn't doubt the feeling, we didn't need to confirm. We simply knew we mattered. Maybe that's what youth, and maybe that's what youth allows. A fearless kind of peace where connection flows so freely and explanation cease. Maybe growing means we question what once felt undisturbed, but I still believe the silence can sometimes say more than it should. I don't regret the conversations or the truths we had to face, but part of me still lingers in that quiet, sacred space where your heartbeat next to mine was the only proof we needed, and love was simply present, not analyzed or breathing. Back when love didn't need words, didn't need to justify. We trusted what we felt inside, we didn't ask it why. Even though we've moved along and silence feel absurd, I'll always remember who we were. When love didn't need words, when love didn't need words. If I ever find the feeling again, I won't try to explain. I'll let it live in quiet moments, like sunlight after rain. Because some of the truest love is felt, not spoken or heard, just like it was between us when love didn't need words. The sweetness of what was, moments we would one day miss. We were simply living forward, not aware of all of this. Your hand fit mine so easy, like it had always known the place. We walked through days like endless fields, with sunlight on our face. We laughed without a reason, spoken plans to where to hold. Believed that love was simple and forever could be told. There was magic in the ordinary, in coffee, rain and late night calls. We didn't need the world to change, we felt we had it all. Before the weight of knowing, before we learned to guard, we gave each other everything without thinking it was hard. Oh, the sweetness of what was still lingers in my chest. Not a pain that breaks me down, just a warmth I once possessed. We didn't last forever, but we were real because there's something softly beautiful in the sweetness of what was. Somewhere time began to whisper different dreams into our ears, different versions of tomorrow, different hopes and quiet fears. We try to hold the shape we had, but growth began to show, and loving meant admitting when it was time to let it go. trust or blame, just two hearts gently shifting, still tender just the same. We chose kindness over anger, chose truth instead of pride, and walked away still grateful for the time we had inside. Some love is meant to bloom, not meant to stay in place. It teaches you its sweetness, then leaves you with its grace. Oh, the sweetness of what was, like summer after rain, a memory that doesn't wound, just softly says your name. We didn't fail each other, we simply grew because even endings can be gentle in the sweetness of what was. I don't wish to rewrite it or freeze it in its prime, because part of what made it beautiful was knowing it was time. Not every love is meant to last, but every love can mean something honest, something warm, something quietly serene. If I smile when I remember, it's not because I'm lost, it's because we once were fearless before counting any cost. We were young and open-hearted, braver than we knew, and that sweetness still exists in everything I do. Oh, the sweetness of what was, still gentle, still alive, a chapter closed with gratitude that helped my heart survive. We may have turned the page apart, but nothing ever does erase the quiet beauty of the sweetness of what was. So here's to who we were back then, to laughter, light, and trust. Some love is not for always, but still it's more than just a passing phase or a fleeting spark. It shapes who we become, and I will always carry the sweetness of what was. We met before the world grew sharp, before we learned to hide. Hearts unguarded, open wide, with nothing left inside. We didn't weigh our every word or fear what might go wrong. We simply felt what we were feeling, like that was where we belonged. We held hands like it was magic, like it meant the stars aligned. Every glance felt cinematic, every moment undefined. We weren't worried about tomorrow or who we'd have to be. We only cared about the way you smiled back at For the doubts and overthinking, for experience grew loud. We loved without conditions, we didn't question how. Oh, the innocent love we once knew, so fearless and so true. We didn't need forever, we just needed me and you. No walls, no hesitation, no games to misconstrue. There was something pure between us, and the innocent love we once knew. We believed in simple promises, for all their open skies. Thought the world would wait for us, thought it wouldn't compromise. Your laughter felt like safety, mine didn't mask a scar. We were softer than we realized, braver, and we are. But time began to teach us how fragile hearts can be, how life can shift and change its shape as we learn differently. We started seeing futures that didn't fully blend, and somewhere in that growing we found a quiet end. Still, I wouldn't trade those days for all I know right now, because that innocent version of us showed me how. Oh, the innocent love we once knew, it lingers in my mind. Not a wound that keeps me broken, just a warmth both soft and kind. We didn't fail each other, we simply outgrew. But I'll always carry a piece of it, of the innocent love we once knew. Maybe love is meant to start that way, untouched by fear or pride, before we learn to protect ourselves or what we try to hide. Maybe it's the first true mirror, it shows us who we are, before the world adds layers, before it leaves its scars. If I love more wisely now, it's because of what we were, because you showed my younger heart how to trust and how to care. And even though we changed our paths and grew into something new, there's still a quiet light inside from the innocent love we knew. Final chords, the innocent love we once knew, still gentle when I recall. Not perfect, not eternal, but beautiful through it all. We were young and we were honest, and that alone was true. I'll always be grateful for the innocent love we once knew. So here's to who we used to be, before we understood that even fleeting moments can still be good. Some love is not for keeping, but shaping what we do. And I am who I am today because of me and you. So here's to who we used to be. Before we understood. We held hand. Here's to who is to who we used to be. So here's to who we used to be. So here's to who we used to be. So here's to who we used to be. Ooh, so here's to who we used to be. So here's to who we used to be. We held hands like yours. There was a time we didn't question how long the sunlight chose to stay. We live inside the present tense and let tomorrow find its way. Your voice was something steady, a quiet place to land. We never thought about the ending. We just held each other's hands. We filled the air with easy laughter, turned small rooms into open skies. Every glance held simple answers, no need for disguise. We believed in this completely, in everything we could become, before the world would complicate it, before the weight would come. Time moved softly through our fingers, like it wasn't in a rush. We didn't know we were building memories we'd one day touch. It's a past that still feels warm, like sunlight through a window pane. Not a fire that burns too bright, just comfort after rain. We didn't last forever, but we were honest from the start. And there's something still alive in my warmth inside my heart. We started growing in directions neither one of us had planned. Different dreams began unfolding, different futures in our hands. It wasn't anger, it was distance, slow and barely seen. A quiet shift in who you were and what our love would mean. We tried to hold what felt familiar, try to keep the shape the same, but love can't live inside a picture if it's afraid to change. So we chose truth over comfort, even when it made us ache, because sometimes letting go is the bravest choice to make. There's no bitterness between us, no shadows left to fight, just gratitude for what we had in that younger light. It's a past that still feels warm, like summer fading into fall, a gentle kind of memory that doesn't hurt at all. Greeted and breaking pieces, we didn't fall apart. carry that quiet warmth in who I am today. I don't wish to rewrite history or return to who we were, because loving you back then taught my restless heart to stir. It showed me how to trust again, how to feel without defense, how even temporary love can make a lasting sense. Final, it's a past that still feels warm. And it lives within my heart. So here's to who we used to be. To laughter, light and trust. Some those are not for always, but still they mean so much. And though we've both moved on and built new lives to stars, there's a past that still feels warm, and it lives within my heart. So here's to who we used to be.